paying attention to my screen. My knee, you can see my knee the entire time. I
Oh,
know.
whatever. All right. Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast episode 653. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Fonsad,
Yeah. Ahoy.
and Tony Korkanakis.
Yo.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, to probably Nintendo Direct Gamecast. We had a Nintendo Direct last week that was super exciting for certain games. Some of them in between, I was kind of like, whatever. But it was very good. We're going to be talking about that today. But first, let me get the promos out of the way. We are live on Twitch Tuesday nights, so please join us. Subscribe to this channel. If not, subscribe to the YouTube channel, because we're on both of those. If you don't see us live, all of our content is over on YouTube. Subscribe. Give us that thumbs up. We appreciate it, guys. Thank you. All right. So, yeah, I mean, there was a Nintendo Direct this week. Some amazing games were announced that I'm quite excited for, but we'll get into that. First, what we've been up to. Myself, I've been playing a lot of Zelda this week. I'm only like 34 hours in the game now. 34, I think it's at 34. It's at 34 or more, right? That's what it says. 34 or more. So I'm over 34 hours in this game. I've been playing quite a bit this week on it, and you know what's funny is last week I was at the water temple with the two of the seals, and I'm still in the exact same spot in the water temple, but I've unlocked the entire map. I've done all of the glyphs, so I have the full story. I even got the master. Yeah, I got the Master Sword too.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, so I've progressed the game.
Yeah,
I just haven't progressed the game.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to say it like that, but it's true, and it's
And
man,
it encourages you to do that. Yeah, I know, right?
That was shocking. You kept it. Yeah,
I did.
I had no idea what I was in for here. I don't even know how it finishes yet. I'm excited to see how this finishes. But this world is so awesome. You know, my wife was actually just watching me play earlier, and she said there was like these dragons. She's like, you're not gonna go fight them? I'm like, no, not in this game. In this game, I survive. So you know, like the three-headed dragon stuff that's this flying around the worlds. I usually avoid them. You know, I'm up. You know, I only have like
find them, Jim. Fight them.
I have only 13 heart containers now, but the thing for me was in the water temple, I was tired of just screwing up and getting hit by a construct and getting killed, like just messing that up and just getting.
Have you upgraded your armor? I have to ask. Have you upgraded your armor?
Yeah, so I started to do that. Okay. That's when I noticed I started taking less damage, and I got more hearts, and that helps too, obviously. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna breeze. I'm hopefully gonna be able to breeze through some of these temples now. Well, not breeze, but you know what I mean. They're still puzzles. But the combat itself, I'm less intimidated by the constructs now in terms of anything they throw at me. But yeah, I mean it's an amazing world. It's so much fun. I can't say enough about this game. I'm excited to finish it. I have a lot of stuff to play still. But you know, that's where I'm at, and then you know, so that's it for me. That's all I played. But I would like to hear from Tony.
Yeah, so I picked up a PlayStation 5, a little birthday treat to myself. Yeah, I had to you know, keep my promise to Yoshi P and support Final Fantasy 16. So I've been playing that, and unfortunately, it's a little mixed for me, right?
Yeah, I've heard this actually. Yeah,
because
I'm disappointed to hear this, by the way.
Yeah, no, I'm disappointed to like feel this way because like I was really like, you know, the first year that it was like talking about it and marketing it, when I was like really happy about it, but playing it, some of the concerns that I had are definitely appearing now. So let me just list the positives. So the game is gorgeous. The game is absolutely beautiful.
I saw some screenshots. It looks amazing.
Like, yeah, absolutely beautiful. Voice acting, amazing. Like, got top-notch voice actors and things like that. Even the combat, the core combat, it's very good. You can tell like it's the guy that did, you know, Devil May Cry and everything like that. Very fluid and stuff.
I think that's part of some of the problem though too.
Mike, by the way, Mike, listen to this review because I think this game is more up your alley than it is up my alley. But go on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, you know, those are the good things. You know, even the story so far is mostly good. I have some reservations, but the things that I'm less excited about is it feels very like linear in terms of like so far, because I'm like only 7 hours in. But from my understanding, it doesn't get better in that regard. Where it's literally just like, hey, here's a field, and it's like you could diverge from the path, but like, because like the thing is, you see
all paths lead to one path.
Yeah, it's like you could just go around or or just straight. And it's like, I'm just gonna go straight, right? Because like the game does this thing where you can see like sparkling like items in the distance. Like it has like a small blue pillar coming out of it to be like, hey, there's an item for you to pick up over here, right? And me trying to like maximize like, hey, I want to enjoy this game as much as I possibly can, directly coming off of Zelda where it's like you're encouraged to explore, right? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go over there, and surprise, surprise, every single time you go to one of these items, there's like enemies around. So it's like, okay, I've got to fight these enemies to get this item. But then the item is just so fucking useless. Like, I've seen it where it's like 2 gil, and I'm just like, that's not even worth me walking over here. Like, I value my real lifetime more than I value 2 gil. Like, that is just an insane reward for walking over to an area just to be like, oh, I'm seeing this forest area from a different angle. Like, that's supposed to be the reward or something. So I'm just like, ah. So I did that for like 2 areas. I'm just like, nah, I'm just doing the critical path now. I'm just like, fuck it. Just heads down. I'm just walking down there and stuff like that. So that's my big, like, overworld complaint. And it just kind of ties in with... I feel like this is like almost the way with Horizon 2, where it's like, I played it directly after Zelda, where I'm just like, it's hard to not compare, like, being able to be like, go anywhere, do anything you want, to be like, okay, I'm a boxed in this area. And it looks pretty, don't get me wrong, it looks amazing, but it's just like, very on the surface, very superficial, right?
I heard that like there's not much RPG elements at all.
So that's the other thing, right?
That's what I was talking about with Mike.
Right. So the other thing, and I'll tie these two together because there's a lack of RPG, but there's also a lack of combat depth from what I would want for this, right? So for RPG, I mean, you only have Clive, you only have the main character. Yeah, technically people join your party, but they're all AI controlled. And unless it opens up after the 7-hour mark, it's not like you can equip them with different things. You can't give them commands. You can't be like, do this or whatever like that. You got Torgal, and like he can either attack or heal you, but like it's super, super light. It's not really meaningful. And yeah, you can equip like different swords, but like they're all just stat sticks in physical appearances. Like, at least again, 7 hours in, I haven't seen anything like, drastically changes up. Like,
This is removed any of the depth of an RPG to make it more mainstream. It sounds like this is what I've read. I mean,
right.
I haven't played.
No, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I would agree with that because like.
So that's what I was saying with Mike. Mike, this might be your Final Fantasy game finally. It's Devil May Cry combat.
Don't care
They remove
about it.
the RPG elements that make you have to. Oh, I have to do all this. I have to level up this sword. I have to customize this weapon with magic. And it's I think this is more up your alley. But go on. Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, it's like, okay, so if we're gonna take out the RPG elements, then you need to give me more of the action sure. elements to make up for that, right? Because you know me, I'm a huge Devil May Cry fan. I'm a huge Bayonetta fan. I love those types of games. Platinum in general, Nier Automata, Wonderful 101, stuff like that. But it's not, and I'm very concerned because like you have like a small like stat ring where you can buy or upgrade skills, but for the most part, I've only seen it's kind of like you do more damage. Basically, I'm just like, there's nothing where it's like it unlocks full new combo strings or like you get drastically new moves that like changes up the way you're gonna play or anything like that. So 99% of the combat in this game for me is square, 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 square 4 times, and then triangle for the magic attack where you do this like combat burst. And I'm just like, that's it. Like, that is it. Imagine playing a Devil May Cry game or a Bayonetta game where it's like, that's all you do. 4 times in a row, plus 1 button.
That's not even good. Like, I thought this was at least fun action-wise, like multiple combos and stuff like that, but it doesn't even sound like
no,
that.
And like the thing is, like, and this is the only weapon that you get. Like, there's no, like, you don't get a lance, you don't get like an axe, you don't get like sword and shield for like parrying or anything like that. It's just this 2-handed sword weapon. So I'm like super disappointed in that aspect because, again, coming off of like Bayonetta 3 last year, which didn't even make my game of the year or anything like that, but like it was very solid. Like, like comparing the two, because if you remember, you talked about that, you had these summon things in Bayonetta 3 that I talked about, like a Godzilla monster, the spider monster, stuff like that. And you could incorporate that into your combo moves to extend the strings and stuff like that. And that was super fun and super gratifying. And in this, it's not like what the icons do when you equip them is you get 2 of their abilities to work in that are cooldown based and stuff like that. But like 2 is just so few. It's so bad feeling. Like it's just like meh. And I'm just like, whatever. So that's my big gripes about it. Again, I'm sounding more overly harsh on it, but that's because I was so hyped for this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying it's a bad
Yeah, the
game.
demo was pretty. I mean, demo's like a small slice, so you're expecting things to open up a lot
Right.
more. Like, oh, this is a really cool taste of everything, and like get the world building, the character, and all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff. And it's like, all right, now we're ready for the game and to see it go in further. So I was, yeah, it's still disappointing to hear that you haven't in the 7 hour mark gotten more things to do, more options. And like the other problem is like when you do get more things to do, is it gonna be value to do those things like combo wise where it's just like all right, I just rather just do this other combo and stick to that.
Yeah,
That's
it
where it's like
works. What works,
it's
or make it
rough.
more complicated. Yeah,
But
that's true.
yeah, and it's interesting because there's so many outlets that are giving it like best Final Fantasy, and for me, it sounds like everything I've seen from it, and even playing the demo, it seems like this is kind of doing the Yakuza thing and going away from what Final Fantasy is. Like we're not doing what Final Fantasy, like the traditional Final Fantasy is anymore.
They
This is
they've
going to be a completely different game.
they've threatened to do this for many years. Like they've moved towards this over the
Mm-hmm.
last few games, and this is the one that finally just turned
Yeah, I
that
thought it was going
corner.
to go the other way. I thought it was going to be like, all right, we're going to kind of go back to our roots with the medieval theme and kind of
And you know,
get back to that
honestly, I think
Final
that's
Fantasy 12 style stuff, something like that.
honestly, I think that's the part of the problem. When I say problem, I don't mean for fans of the genre or fans of the game or the series, maybe to a degree, but I'm saying that's a problem for Square Enix, right? Because over the past couple of years, I've talked on, we've all talked about it on the podcast about how Japanese games are finally getting their time in the sun. We see series like Monster Hunter or Yakuza or what, even Zelda most recently with Breath of the Wild and now Tears of the Kingdom, like these series that were always quote unquote popular, but like they're not going toe to toe with these other series. But now they're finally selling in those like double digit million range and stuff like that. Whereas Final Fantasy like struggles to do that. Like Seven
Yeah.
Remake, because I mean, how many years did we talk and joke that Seven Remake was like the last like emergency button for Square Enix? Like, hey, if we ever need millions of dollars, we're just gonna hit this button, Seven Remake, and stuff like, because they've teased that ever since PS2, right? They had a PS2 tech demo, they had a PS3 tech demo, they had a PS
And the movie.
and the movie and stuff like that. So I feel like Square Enix like really wants Final Fantasy to be a series that's going to sell 10, 20, 30 million copies, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like it's almost over the years, because every game has been so drastically different, you're never going to get like all the fans on one thing, right? Because like people who like 7
Mm-hmm.
aren't necessarily the same people who like 8, who aren't necessarily the same people that like 9, because like every time they're just
9 was
changing up.
traditional.
Yeah,
9 was traditional.
Right, 9 was traditional and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's part of the problem here that Square Enix is having, and I don't know how it's going to shake up. I know Imran Khan was saying he had heard that Square Enix was kind of worried about pre-sales and stuff like that. So we'll see how
They were. I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that.
So we see how sales go, and it's
Yeah,
one of those things where the other thing I really want to say real quick, I could rant about this for a little while, but one of the qualms I had with Final Fantasy 15, and I think a lot of people did, was just how male-centric the core cast was, right? Because it was four guys on a road trip, right?
It was a dude fest. Yeah,
It was a dude fest, right?
It was a bro. Yeah, it was a bro fest. Yeah, it was like,
Right?
oh, yeah.
And that's fine. Like, if it's going to be like a one-off, like, sure, okay. I can get it and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But this, 7 hours in, it's almost the same thing in here, except you just have Clive. And everybody is like, wow, Clive, you're so cool. And it's other guys and the few female characters in the game being like, wow, Clive, you're so cool. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, please, like, I don't need you to fillet me as the main character, like, all the time. Like, please, for the love of God, just treat me like a regular person.
It's the same formula as
and then
every Final Fantasy game.
The last thing I'll say about it too is, like, I know Game of Thrones was this huge inspiration for them working on it, and that's great because I love fantasy, and I'll even say I still like dark fantasy, but I think they took the wrong things from Game of Thrones and be like, okay, first of all, you gotta have swearing, right? I've heard so many fucks, it's ridiculous. It's almost like losing its.
It's like throwing it out there.
Yeah, just like fuck and shit and stuff like that. I'm like, okay. There's a couple times where you see, like, not like full on nudity, but it's like, okay, these characters are naked and in bed or whatever and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, you got to have your sex because it's Game of Thrones. And I'm just like, and like there's uber violence, like you see characters getting their throats slit and everything like that. I'm just like, I don't know. Like, to me, I'm like, yes, that's Game of Thrones, but this is not Final Fantasy. Like, the Venn diagram of Game of Thrones fans and like Final Fantasy fans, I can't imagine is that big. So
No.
I don't know. And the other thing is right. And the other thing is going along with that. I was talking to another friend about that, where like Game of Thrones. Let's take just season 1 of Game of Thrones, because they only did up to 4 seasons, right? Which is probably the best way to go about that.
Sure, absolutely.
They don't just introduce a character in Game of Thrones for the most part, just for them to die in like the next scene or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil season 1 of Game of Thrones. So if you haven't seen it in the fucking 15 years it's been out, you're going to get spoiled for this. I'm sorry. You skip ahead 3 minutes if you don't want to hear it.
Right, go on.
Imagine if they just introduced Ned Stark in episode 1 of Game of Thrones, and then they just jump to where he gets beheaded. Right? Like, it would feel like so meaningless, right? You'd be like, I have no attachment to this character. Yeah, exactly. I have no attachment to this character. I just know it's this dude's dad, right?
As it was, that was less impactful, because I remember so many people were so confused about who was who in the first season. But, like, from the books, I'm saying. But, like, yeah, that would be really bad. That would be really bad.
And that happens to so many characters in this. I'm just like, it's almost like the Walking Dead effect, where I'm just like, I can't get attached to any of these characters because like I'm expecting all of them to die.
Well, in the prologue, I mean, in the demo, it happens.
Yeah, I know.
First character you meet.
I know. I know. So, we'll see. I'm hoping it gets better by the end. So I'm still enjoying it. It's just a lot of these things just stick out to me. I'm like, oh, why are we doing this? So yeah.
All right. Interesting. I'm curious because everyone loves this game. Seems like every outlet, it's glowing.
Well, so. I mean, Schreier loved it, but he still hits it. I've seen him hit it a few times on Twitter, like how basic it is.
It does get me to think that, again, with any like long game, and RPGs especially, anything that's like a 50+ hour fest, like I swear to God, I don't think a lot of outlets are getting to that end and reviewing it after. Because Jason Schreier is like, I love this game up until the last quarter or whatever it was.
Yeah, he said last third.
Last third. Yeah, whatever it was. And he's like, I don't understand that. Like, I don't understand how people are agreeing with like the narrative decisions they took that just completely, flubbed it for me and stuff like that. So I'm just like, oh. And like, if you remember, we talked about Resident Evil Village, and that got glowing reviews. But like, it was clear that the castle part of that was the best. Like, after you step foot outside that castle, the game goes downhill very quickly. But all the reviews barely even mention that, if at all. So I'm just like, are these people just playing it for a couple hours and being like, yeah, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, or whatever. I don't know. It just makes me suspicious a little bit.
I'm curious to see how many people are actually like finishing games. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Like, not just reviewers, but I mean like consumers.
Oh yeah. We have the data.
It's normally like maybe 30%.
Yeah, it's
that's a big one.
I mean, like I think that's why these reviewers are kind of like, well, we'll just cater to the 70%.
Yeah.
Anyways, so all right, Mike, what have you been playing? Anything good?
Well, first of all, I need to push back. I'm not that much of a basic bitch.
No, when I made the comment about this is up your alley, it was more about I heard the action combat was very good, but it had scaled massively back on the RPG elements. That's when
I
can play the Yakuza game. He can play.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was very. Yakuza is a perfect example of what this game is. That's what I've heard.
No, I'm saying the more turn-based one.
Oh no, I'm talking about just regular action-based.
No, I know that. That's why I'm saying I'm pushing back on that.
It's funny though, but the way you guys just described it sounds like less of an RPG than something like God of War or even Jedi Survivor.
That's what I've.
No, I would ask.
Not from Tony. I just figured that out.
Because there's passives and like stuff that. You get like powers from some of the gear you equip in that. Like, doesn't sound like there's anything like that here.
No, that's my biggest criticism. That's my biggest criticism.
System in this is completely dumbed down. There's nothing creative about it. So.
So anyway, speaking of me playing games out of character, I've been playing a bit of Street Fighter VI.
Nice.
This week, I'm still just doing the world tour. Mostly because that Capcom ID thing just keeps breaking for me when I try to do it, so I can't get online. It's stupid. It's annoying. I'll try it again when I feel like I have a second, but I also don't think I'm ready to play online because the world tour obviously sort of acts as a tutorial, but it's very drawn out. I'm like 10+ hours in, and I'm still getting like
its own little game.
People showing up teaching me some of the basics of the mechanics of the game. There's like a lot going on that I can't wrap my head around yet.
Give him credit. You just said 10 hours in a Street Fighter game for a single player. That's
yeah. I mean, I'm a little. I know. I'm a little bored, but I'm also going through it. I'm trying to find stuff to do and better outfit my my Wolverine-like avatar that I made in this.
Not as good as the Crypt.
It's a different thing because this is this is really trying to be more of an open world story.
Yeah.
The Crypt is interesting.
You're unlocking the same ideas that the Crypt did. You're doing like more outfits, you're getting stuff in this like the Crypt.
It doesn't seem like I am. No, not really. Only for this character.
I think you get power-ups and stuff in the Crypt, like power-ups.
No. What you get in the Crypt is stuff for the game. So you'll get like in the newer ones you'll get gear or you'll get fatalities listed out. You'll get different music, different brutalities are unlocked, stuff like that. Or
so this
but
this
you just unlock like stuff for the character you're playing as in the World Tour. I think maybe if you like max out stuff with some of the legacy characters, you might get a different costume for them or something.
Yeah,
I'm not
sure. That's how you get their old costumes.
Okay,
I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what.
I mean, it probably is. I have not done that with anyone yet because you have to like give them gifts and stuff, and spend a bunch of time like kissing their ass. But it's okay. I'm good enough where I had some friends over, and they didn't want to play me because I was well versed enough in it where I couldn't play anyone else who was new at it, so that was good. But I think I will.
Wait, they didn't want to play it?
I played it against them a couple rounds, and they're like, "This isn't fun. You know too much that we don't, so we're not doing this anymore." I'm like,
"Can't you?"
I'm like, I'm a novice at this game, but all right.
Can't you do like handicap? Like older Street Fighters, you get handicap. I believe.
Yeah,
maybe. I didn't. No, I mean, I don't know. I know that they could have done modern controls.
I didn't look at it. Yeah.
But yeah, we also we had a bunch of people over, and so the other thing I played is I went and played GoldenEye again, since I had the local people, and that was fun. But I don't know if I mentioned this from the last time we did this. The Xbox remake has a bigger flaw that I remember, and that is in the levels in multiplayer you can't drop down the like openings at all anymore in the Xbox Game Pass version. Like, in Complex, there's that one spot where you can drop down where the body armor is, or in Temple, you can jump down and like actually fight someone you saw below you. You can't do that in this remake, which is, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. That.
Are you sure you don't have to crouch first?
I mean, maybe if that's true, but I don't recall that being the case.
Because we only played it for a little bit, but we played Facility, and I just remember dropping down from that bathroom spawn, the vent spawn.
Well, that is automatic because you can't get out of there if that doesn't happen.
Right. I would be surprised if it was different programming is all I'm like saying so.
I don't know, but we all like none of us figured it out because we were all like, I can't get down there. What's going on? It felt like it did, unless we're all misremembering what we needed to do back in the day. It felt like we were expecting something to happen that wasn't happening there. This invisible wall stopped us, which is a shame because there's only so many times you can get this many people together for a local GoldenEye match, which is the best thing really that you can do since you can't do online with the Xbox version. But I mean, it's still fun to do. Obviously, a local GoldenEye match in 2023 with 4 or 5 guys and then here. But so that was it. Those were the big things we played. Played some little things here and there too, but it was a fun time. But yeah, we'll see if I'll get slaughtered. I probably will go online in Street Fighter by next week, and we'll see how.
Mike. Why not?
How slaughtered I get.
Find out where you
I don't even know. I don't even know which character I am because when you play the World Tour, you are a chimera of styles. All of them, You gotta
feel out what kind of style you want. You do want a grappler, do you want to be distance guy or close guy? So charged character or a.
Yeah, that's why I prefer Ken now because I like to have the fast getting close.
Ken
you're
seems
dad
like
now?
Yeah, Hobo Ken.
Ken seems like the sort of default, like, easy character from what I can tell.
Easy. There's such a good depth to the combos.
Well, yeah, no, but you could say that about every character in the game.
Sure.
But
I mean, honestly, my favorite character in the Street Fighter is was it Fei Long? That's my
I
favorite
haven't seen
character.
him in a while.
I know. So I'm not expecting him in this game. So I'm just gonna have to go with Ken. So that's it. But
yeah, the horniness of the game is also weird to me because everyone has giant feet that sort of throws it off. So I find that strange, but whatever.
So
the game is horny though, but
so
in a weird way.
Rex Ryan worked in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well, if you're into giant feet, you need
Corey
giant
got
feet.
it though, but Corey got it. And that's why I'm going Corey. What have you been up to?
Like,
Corey got
yeah.
It so
yeah, no, it's
16 monster feet for everyone. It's weird.
Yeah.
But I've been mostly just playing Diablo 4.
Yes. Yeah. So I was talking to Nick about that a little bit, and I heard he's like in love with that.
He was asking me, he's like, "How come Jim hasn't got on yet?" I was like, "Dude, he's got like Jedi Survivor, he's got Hogwarts Legacy, he's got Breath of the Wild, he's got Street Fighter 6. He's got no time for this game."
Yeah, he was recruiting me hard over the weekend, over the camp out weekend. He was like, definitely recruiting me like crazy. He's like, just get it, just download it and you have it. And I'm like, no. So
you get that game, you're not going to be playing any of the other games.
No, so. I without a doubt, I'm 100% finishing Zelda before I even touch that. Before I even think about buying that game, I'm finishing Zelda first. So
no, I'm really happy with the game. Like, I had no faith in this game whatsoever, especially after Immortal. Immortal was horseshit. That's the mobile game because we all have phones. So, and especially after that, I thought this game was going to be complete trash, and it is way better than it has any right to be from what I've played. And I know there are people who are going to have complaints, and there are going to be people that put in 100 hours into it already, which is mind-boggling. But I mean, I've been playing it every chance I get, essentially, because the loop is just super addicting, and the progression feels really good. And the character that I'm playing as is the rogue. I feel like I'm getting powerful and more powerful every time I play, and all the loot that you're getting feels like it matters, and the different combinations of skills and powers that you can put together make you feel different. And you can, like with Rogue especially, because Rogue is a little bit more of a higher skill level character, because you have melee versions and you have range versions of this character, and then you also have versions in between. And so trying to find that balance of what you want to do with this character has been a lot of fun, and feeling out what works for you and the play style you want to have.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been really good. And they've been, very attentive to the community as far as trying to make things better with what complaints that have been coming out. They just dropped a patch today which has been just huge patch. So they fixed a lot of things, little quality of life stuff. So yeah, I'm very excited to see the future of this, especially since they already said they're working on 2 expansions for it, and and I'm still working my way towards max level. They say 85 is halfway to 100 as far as experience points go, and I'm in like 75 range right now.
Yeah, my brother said they had to buff the experience from 70 or reduce it.
So in the patch notes, because I had them over here open before, their patch notes, they say they significantly increase the experience you gain from enemies in Nightmare Dungeons and for completing Nightmare Dungeons, because Nightmare Dungeons is kind of the end game thing that you're doing, and it just didn't seem worth it. People would rather just farm certain areas or just restart regular dungeons because it was worth it. The time investment was worth it. They also, quality of life stuff, they let you teleport directly to those Nightmare Dungeons now instead of having to travel to them. So just making it so that way the Nightmare Dungeons are going to be the best way to experience farm experience, which is good.
Yeah. All right, cool.
I watched my brother play it. It looks fun, but
it looks so good, but there's so much out there. There's so much out there this year.
Yeah, if this came out last year, I probably would have played it, but like this year...
I think the other thing that really helps too is like the community part of it. The camaraderie of having your friends playing it together with them. It's that, like that Destiny feel for me too, where like I have my board game group that I play with all the time. So I'm playing with them constantly, and then obviously when Nick jumps on, I see him on all the time, by the way.
Yeah, he's on too much.
My brother said he's playing all the time.
Yeah, he's on too much. He told me he's on
and
too
then
much.
like you got Happles playing, like all the Easton guys. Like I saw them all on.
No.
Now I'm getting Sales pitch.
Does this
Thanks, man.
does this game stay in the sort of like isometric like
Yeah.
view the whole time?
Yeah.
Classic.
And
Yes.
and how many and everyone does everyone have their own screen, or is it all
it's in the
contained
area.
to one screen?
You have a play. It's
Well,
one screen.
it
You have a play
depends.
area.
I mean, it depends. I haven't played local co-op, so I don't know what local co-op looks like. They just did a whole bunch of fixes on the local co-op though, but there is local co-op on this game. I don't know, so we're on our own screens.
It's play, but it's play area based. It's not like in local co-op. It's basically you can't leave there's a length of screen you can expand to. So
I would assume so. But I haven't played it. Yeah, I mean that's how it used to be. So I haven't played. I can't comment on that. But yeah, no. As far as like the playing with your friends and stuff like that, that's where I think you get the most fun out of it as well, because a lot of it is once you kind of just going through the motions, you can just bullshit and stuff, talk, like we could be playing Diablo right now and doing a podcast. But yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun to get back into an action RPG like this.
Yeah. You there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Let's go in. I thought I froze for a second, but
you're shocked. The weather's got you on pins and needles.
Yeah. All right. So we've got. Let's see here. Let's go into some news. I got some basic news first. We'll finish with the direct, but we're gonna go with the NPD first off the bat.
No. We're not NPD anymore. It's Circana.
I'm sorry. Don't want to use the improper name. NPD. So the highlights from Circana. May 2023 consumer spending up 12% compared to the year ago for like total 4.1 billion from hardware and accessories. Spending gains were seen across content, hardware, and accessories. That's pretty good news for the hardware industry. Software-wise, it was pretty impressive as well. Zelda obviously premiered at number 1. I don't even have that list open right now. I'm trying to get it open here. But I will give Hogwarts Legacy credit. Back to number 2. So, and Jedi Survivor was your number 3 game. Impressive. Mario Kart 8 still at number 8. It's got to be number 8 forever. Impressive. Elden Ring still it's in the top 20. It's good there. But Zelda premiering at number 1 and Hogwarts for some reason jumping back up to number 2 was crazy.
Probably had sales or something.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So it's interesting. Anything else to add to this? Am I missing one other part? If you do physical and digital.
What?
Wait, what's the second one here? Year to date top 20 year to date. Year to date top 20. So Hogwarts Legacy is still number 1. Zelda though number 2 for year to date over Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah. No digital, so that's pretty impressive.
And that's no digital. Yeah.
So
I knew there was one more section. I'm like, what am I want to talk about here? I'm like, oh, there it is. Very impressive for NPD or Circana this month.
I know it's a weird thing. I was just like, wait, it's not NPD anymore. It's Circana.
Oh yeah. So, and then real quick in the news, EA GM Gary McKay confirms Mass Effect is still in pre-production.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I said it was going to be a long time before we saw another Mass Effect game.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right. Other news, we got Microsoft raising prices for its hardware in every other market except for US, Chile, and Japan. But Game Pass pricing is going up for everywhere. And what is it going up? $1 or $2?
Depends on, I think, the length of the
tier, right? The tier.
Yeah.
I think it's $2 for the Ultimate per month if you just do monthly. But yeah, so I'm not sure what that. I think it's $2, but yeah. So interesting. As they've assured us, they're still not going to raise prices, but they are raising some prices. Correct. Yeah. Yep. Phil Spencer saying we're not going to raise the price of the hardware, but they are raising.
I like the interview.
The console war, so let's make the price of the console higher.
Yeah. No, I think I like the old interview because it was only like 6 months ago or whenever Sony did it. Phil was like, "No, we're not doing it. We really want to make sure we have value for our consumers and make sure that they're good." And 6 months later, things are bad. We got to pay for this Activision Blizzard acquisition.
Didn't Jim Ryan just come out like some?
Jim Ryan had to do. Yeah. So this
get up on some.
This thing has been crazy. I've been watching it like rudimentarily through like Twitter updates, like Steven Totilo and.
Yeah, I've seen a couple updates on Twitter.
Somebody else. But Microsoft just flat out admitted they got wind of Starfield possibly being a PlayStation exclusive, and they're like, "We got to buy the company. Like, fuck it, we got to buy the company." And it's just like,
yeah,
it's like, how about you just fucking make your own good games, bro? Like, have you thought about this? Maybe.
Yeah.
Have you?
Sony's been paying for a lot of exclusives, so that's how they want to. Why don't they just?
But everybody's been paying for exclusives.
I guess they felt it was cheaper to buy the company than just.
Well, no, that happens. That happens right away. Making a game, who knows? That's a long-term thing, and who knows if it works.
Yeah, I get you.
Just buy the games instead.
Yeah,
quicker, easier.
That's what they're looking at, because they were looking at buying Sega apparently.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other company?
There was a list of 100 companies, dude.
Yeah, they just went through them all, and they gave them like they gave them their strengths. Like, what's their strengths
this is why we want to, and that's fine. That's what every business should do. But like, it's just when you look at this list, you're like, this is crazy. Like, literally crazy that Microsoft would be allowed to buy all these companies. And you guys know me. Like, I am against this in every way, shape, and form. Like,
yeah,
you should be able to buy like some company, but like when you're buying like the top 2 publishers, like that's crazy. That is insane to me.
No, I got you. No, I mean, I do agree with you on this. Like, I think that Microsoft looking at smaller publishers and
different, yeah,
completely different, and I want to see them produce games that are like on the Sony single player game levels that we've been getting. I do, and like I know they feel like they're intimidated by what Sony can give you, and I get, like, I don't agree with the fact that Sony is so involved in this decision against purchasing. Like, I feel like Sony is the wrong. Like, if it's wrong based on businesses, that's fine. If it's wrong because Sony is crying about it, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a monopoly, it's based on, you know what I mean? That's fine. Like, I'm totally for the FTC's decision based on the fact that it's wrong for a company to own the size of this company. But if they're being swayed by what Sony is saying, that's my problem. Like, what is Sony crying about, really? That's my issue with this situation.
Well, because
but I do understand.
can outright buy competitors from Sony.
But I know they can, yes. But like, I feel like it's the rich against the rich. But I guess Microsoft is way richer than Sony.
We're talking about wealthy versus rich, not just rich versus rich. Yeah, wealthy versus rich.
Yeah. So no, I get that.
Like $70 billion is how much you're trying to buy Activision Blizzard. I think Sony's maybe worth $100 billion. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I would much rather they go Sony's course of, I don't want this, but if they're gonna pay for exclusives, pay for exclusives. Like, get your Wolverine game exclusive.
But that's the thing. Like, you look years ago, they went to Insomniac before they acquired them. Was like, hey, make us a Spider-Man game. Yeah. And they did that. And then after that went well, they're like, okay, we'll buy you now.
Well, the other thing is they ban the games that they do get exclusives for.
Right.
Like, Insomniac made them an exclusive game.
They made them, right. Thank you for bringing that up. What was it, like Sunset Overdrive or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
It's like you fucking wasted your time in the studio to make a fucking stupid ass game nobody remembers, nobody cares about anymore.
Yeah.
When you could add Spider-Man.
But at the same time, like, Sony owns that property, right? So like, I think they had a issue in there. But at the same time, you had that studio make you an exclusive game. Like, hey, build a relationship with the studio.
Yeah.
Give them a new project that they want to do. Like, hey, what do you guys want to do?
Right.
Here's a blank check. Like, make us something that you want to. Like, instead, they just like, oh, you made us an okay game. Well, you go back to Sony.
I mean, they had Platinum Games too, right? Oh wait.
Yeah. Down. What was this?
That's right.
Weird.
Oh, there was also that report about Perfect Dark now too. Mm-hmm. That apparently that it really was restarted several times.
Well, as we same thing with Fable. I mean, look at Fable's nothing like what we saw.
It's a fucking nothing burger.
Yeah, no, so it's a while for Perfect Dark.
Look what they did with Rare. Look what they did with every studio. Like, we've been saying for ages.
Yeah.
Like, that's why they don't have, like, Gears of War. Like, they had a Gears of War, which is great. I love Gears of War. They bought a studio to make more Gears of War, and then they're doing nothing. That studio's done nothing since they put out Gears of War. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. So, and
Rod Ferguson's now making Diablo for us instead of Gears of War games.
It's interesting though. It almost seems like the problem with all these studios is almost that Microsoft is too hands off. Like, they're just letting them do whatever, and then they can't decide what they're doing. It almost seems like.
Well, hands off.
At least it seems like the stories from what we've heard.
Well, for Redfall, absolutely that was the case because that was in the middle of development, and they just outright was like, "Oh, cancel this game for the PlayStation version." you know.
Yeah.
And you think that would be better for them, but then all those resources that were being applied to the PlayStation version, they didn't really do anything with to put into the Xbox version, it seems.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's whatever. We've talked about the core faults with Microsoft. It's they refuse to use licensed engine like Unreal. Their 18-month contracts just continually fuck them over. And honestly, I cannot believe how many interviews Phil Spencer has been on and nobody has pressed him on this.
Yeah.
Like, if I were IGN, if I were that podcast, the Xbox podcast was just on.
If they use known engines too.
Yeah.
Because then obviously everybody that you're hiring after 18 months is going to be.
I outright would just be like, number one, Phil Spencer, why do you guys have 18-month contracts still? Why? Answer that to me. Answer. Like, how do you expect to build great games if these people aren't employed for the entire time that the game is in development for? And those cycles are not getting shorter; they're getting longer. We're not even getting like 2-3 year turnaround times. It's 4, 5, 6 years, right? And then
only getting longer, yeah.
Right. And then number two, why are you still using proprietary engines that are shit, that are garbage? Tell me, Phil. Tell me.
Yeah,
don't promise me the sky anymore. Don't promise me that.
Just fucking answer these questions. Or if you want to have your own engine, build your own engine. Like
no, don't. No. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Because like Sony's got the Gorilla's like Horizon engine, right? Like that's great.
Sure, absolutely. But the thing is, with that, right? Your downside is you cannot attract talent with your proprietary engine, right? Because that's the beauty.
If it's proprietary, but I'm saying like if you're licensing it out as well, like that's what you need to do. Like, but if they're
Microsoft can't even make their own games.
That's what I'm saying, but they're way late on this. Also, they needed to do this like
absolutely
10 years ago,
20 years ago, absolutely, sure.
Well, even 10 years ago would have been fine.
But it's too late, and they need because that's the thing. You have a revolving door at 18 months, and you're being like, guys, come work on this proprietary engine of ours. We need more people. Nobody knows how to fucking use that shit.
Yeah, by the time they learn it, they're
gone. Exactly, they're gone. Yeah. You could be like, hey, we're making an Unreal 5 engine game. You open the fucking floodgates, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super easy. Everybody knows Unreal in that industry.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on and talk about the Nintendo Direct finally. Oh.
Good stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about good stuff.
Maybe depends on if you like.
No, I like
things.
it. I like the Direct. I mean, there were some games that I was like, I don't care about this, but it was a great Direct. I feel like, let me bring up. I mean, the biggest thing obviously was Super Mario RPG being announced. We'll just lead off with that. A complete remake of the SNES game that I never actually played through. So
what?
Yeah, I know. I remember I watched Nick play a bunch of it, but I never played.
It's like Nick's favorite game of all time.
I know. I watched him play through a bunch of it. I never watched him finish it, but I have. So I'm excited. I'll play it absolutely. That was a big game announcement.
And it looks like it's to be like a straight up just frame for frame, just better graphics. It seems
way better graphics coming out November 17th of this year, and complete remake at least of the original game, which is good. They showed some Pikmin 4 though, right? I mean, how did that look? I didn't get to really. That wasn't. It will be released obviously next. It's coming out tomorrow. What am I saying? Tomorrow?
No.
Not tomorrow. Next year.
The demo's tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, it's July 21st. I'm sorry, July 21st. The demo is tomorrow. So July 21st, Pikmin 4 is going to get released. So it's very close to being released anyways. I mean, I've never been a big Pikmin fan myself, but it's my
Pokemans.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess it's kind of like that, but I don't know. Tony, this is up your alley, right?
Yeah, I'm Pikmin. It's a real-time strategy game with, interesting twist. I mean, you have to use the Pikmin with their various abilities to, explore it's basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like, it's like everything's miniature and stuff like that. So it's like, oh shit, Duracell battery is going to take fucking 50 Pikmin to carry back to the ship and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, it's inventive. There's nothing else in the genre for it, and we only get a couple of these. We're this is the fourth one since 2001, so it's not like it's a oversaturated IP or anything like that.
Yeah.
And they shadow dropped Pikmin 1 and 2 on the eShop. So.
Yeah. All right, what else we have on this Nintendo Direct? We've got WarioWare Move It, coming November 3rd, which is another WarioWare fun activity micro.
Yeah, I hope this one's better because I forget if you guys remember me talking about it, but the one on Switch I was like, a little disappointed with, just because it wasn't as
get it together.
Yeah, like I think Corey, I think you said your boys really enjoyed it.
My boys.
Look, I liked it.
I think it's way more geared towards the under 10-year-old.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I enjoyed like the single player, but for me, like, the multiplayer just really fell off because you had to like learn all the characters because every character played differently. It's like, wait, what? So whatever. Hopefully, this one's better in that regard.
Okay.
It's not like it's a high budget title either, so it's like whatever.
No. Let's see. What's other notable game here? Detective Pikachu returns.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I haven't played the first one, but
no. October 6th, Pokemon game. They had the DLC for the Pokemon series as well coming out. Right? They had what was that called? I can't remember what it was called in this.
It should be listed on that link I posted in this.
I'm going through the link. I'm just trying to find. I thought you knew it off the top of your head, man. So
Arctic shit and tropical thunder or whatever. I don't know. Fucking read it.
I can't find it. I'm looking
Tropic
for it.
Thunder.
Trying.
Nice.
Pokemon.
I'm a man playing a man playing another man playing a man.
Scarlet and Violet expansion called Teal Mask and Indigo Disc.
There we go. Close enough.
Sure.
I had to do a Control F and find the damn thing in this article. So. All right, interesting. Coming out, that was shown there. That was not my thing either. Coming fall 2023. Let's see what else we've got. Sonic Superstars was shown. Playable characters. You had Emerald Powers.
I have to say the Lego.
The Lego Sonic.
Really
that was cool. That was cool.
That was cool. That was very cool.
I think my boys will love that. So
Myth Force, a Saturday morning cartoon style Switch game. That looked fun. I don't know why, but that was interesting to me. Yeah, that looked pretty interesting. New Splatfest, vanilla versus strawberry versus mint chip.
For ice cream flavors, yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon getting ported, coming in 2024. Batman Arkham Trilogy coming this fall.
Switch, yes.
Switch,
yes.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I just remember the Wii U version of Arkham City.
It's not the same game. It's not the same content.
Yeah. Let's see. Gloomhaven was announced.
Yep. Switch.
Vampire Survivors coming August 17th. Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1. Released October 24th.
Going out on everything.
Yeah, feature NES Metal Gear games, previously released graphic novels, and they also showed the Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 getting done, not remade, but at least ported over to the Switch. We're getting Snake Eater again, though, right? This is weird to have this, but whatever.
That's what I mean. When I said because this was kind of reported already, but you would think that the other remake would be more of a remake than what it looked like because of this, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
I mean, it's good to have the original. Like you're gonna have people that are purists about it, and that's fine. This doesn't impact either group, and you're gonna have people that buy both, so it's fine.
Any other game besides the closer?
They teased a Peach game in development for next year.
Oh, they did tease the Peach
It's
game.
going to be the star of the show, as they say.
Yep.
Peaches.
So I mean, and then they finished.
It's so crazy with the kids in that song. Like my kids constantly sing that one, and then now off the Bowser.
Yeah. So I heard yesterday, or no, over the weekend, it was the Game Awards 10th anniversary. So they had an orchestra in California, and the closer apparently was Jack Black showing up and in Bowser costume and doing the Peaches song.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Interesting. All right, and then what do we have here? We've got didn't the Mario Wonder was the closer? I mean, Super Mario Brothers Wonder was their big finisher, which, a side-scrolling 2D Mario game, which we thought was going to be here, was here from last podcast. By the way, folks, we were predicting it, and looks like a lot of fun. Looks crazy. Mario game, side-scrolling Mario game. I guess. We haven't had that in a long time. When was the last one again? It was
last one was Wii U, 2012.
Yep.
So last week.
Yeah, so it's been 11 years, and it's good. I mean, I think I mentioned it last week, but I really wanted them to change up the art style because, it was just a little too sterile. But you can just see in that 2-minute clip or whatever like that, they have changed the art style, and there's more character to them. there's one scene where like Mario's running into the pipe, but he loses his hat, so he like, has to reach back and grab it and stuff like that. And there's a lot more facial animation, stuff like that. It actually just gives them like life and character, like literally character to these characters.
I feel like they borrowed some from what they did with the movie. I feel like they kind of incorporated that feel for this game.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure that relationship between Nintendo and Illumination was symbiotic, right? Because, you know, they were good. Nintendo's great at making games, right? Illumination's great at animating stuff. So I'm sure they were like, oh, like, we can do that now. We can take that, right? Like, we'll teach you, you know, about this kind of stuff.
Oh, that's the animation part. Yeah, I got it.
Right?
Yeah, I got
you know?
Yeah.
So I'm really happy for that. And then the other thing I'm really happy about is just, I mean, it seems really inventive, too, just like with what little we know about the Wonder mechanic, which is like a weird flower showing up and you touch it and Mario goes on mushrooms.
Weird shit happens.
Psychedelic shit happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like every level there's going to be a different gimmick for that. So that's kind of cool. But also, so Peach is a playable character this time around from the get-go. You know, it's not like a whatever, which is good. Daisy's a playable character for the first time in a mainline game, which is cool. And then Yoshi's actually a playable character too. So you got Mario, Luigi, and Toad in addition to those. So it looks pretty cool. I'm excited for it. I mean, 4-player Mario games are always kind of crazy when you get that many people playing them at once. Yeah. So, and what?
I might be saying the same thing. What's funny is it seems like they the leak of Sonic game release date. These games are going to be coming out like 2 days away from each other.
Same week. So you get both these games in 1 week. So it's kind of crazy. It's like no 2D platform side scroller, you know, character franchise. It's like all of a sudden 2 in the same week. So yeah, that's cool. I hope they both do well. So you know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Cool.
And you know, these were all games that we didn't know were coming, and they're coming out in 6 months.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, coming out this year, October 20th, like you said. It's going to be interesting. So it was good direct. Like I said, Super Mario RPG was my most hyped one, so I'm looking forward to that the best. I mean, Mario Wonder is going to be good to play too. I'll be playing that too.
You'll be playing that with Ari, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yep. So it'll be fun to play, and the Peach game is kind of exciting for that too.
Yeah.
But
the crazy thing is, because of the Super Mario RPG announcement, people have been coming out of the woodwork doing like research. So apparently, the writer for Super Mario RPG said a year or two ago that he had already like developed or semi-developed a script or story for Super Mario RPG 2, and that was what he wanted to do last before he retired. So it's like, I mean, maybe it's nothing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like,
but it's not.
What if it's not nothing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, someone, I don't know who said this, but someone has said anytime you see a remake of something that's been dormant for a while, it's to gauge interest in a possible sequel.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't be surprised.
So I love, you know, pie in the sky hope here that like this game comes out. I mean, it's already selling really well on Amazon and stuff like that, like higher than even Mario Wonder. But I would love to see be like, hey, year or two after that for the Switch successor, Super Mario RPG 2, like all original.
Yeah,
you know?
Oh, definitely. That'd be cool.
Happened before Perfect Dark. Just know that.
Nope. All right. All right, sounds good. That's going to wrap up this episode of the Gamecast, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, we're live streaming on Twitch Tuesday night starting at 8 o'clock. Please join us live. Join the conversation. If you missed us live, we're on YouTube. All of our stuff's on YouTube, so subscribe to that channel. Subscribe to both channels. We appreciate it, everybody. We'll see you soon. We're out for tonight.